Welcome back. In the last couple of video, we have seen the very basic part. Those parts are very much necessary. No, these are the very base of any programming language that we have covered. uh, Data types. Okay, but our data types is not over yet in the C programming. We'll see two other data types specifically. One is bool data type and another is string data type that you're going to see in the upcoming lectures. But I feel that it is not the right time to introduce because bool have a specific context on where we are using it with the types, some type of operators, right? And on the other side, string, right now we don't have a base of array, so without understanding array, it will be a little bit difficult for us to understand the memory concept or memory mapping of string. So we'll see these things whenever I feel that now it is the right time to introduce the data type. We'll introduce. But bool we're going to see after this topic, input and output. We are about to start the operators. So mostly after the arithmetic operator, there will be conditional operator. This is the way normally we discuss in the classroom. So before we start the conditional statement or conditional operators, we must have to be understood how the bool works. Okay, so but right now in this lecture we're going to see more in detail about the input, as we have already seen the printf statement how it is works for the output. So I'll just going to put these two topics together, input and output, because if I take input from the user, we need to use a function called scanf, right? So after taking input, definitely we're going to display the value, so I need help from printf. So that's why I just going to combine these two topics together. We're also going to see under user input how to take input of these three types. One is character, one is integer, and another is floating point. We have three different, I hope you remember: single precision, double precision, and the long double. Similarly, we're going to also see how we can produce the output. We have already seen in the data type with the respective format specifier, right? And under the scanf, we are going to cover a few basic details because these are the functions we have discussed during the main method, that every function must return a value to the calling environment, right? So here also we're going to see is actually printf and scanf returning any value or not, or if it is returning, is this values are any can we use them for some purpose, any meaning of those values. So we'll explore it. Most important point also you're going to see here, how to take care multiple inputs in one statement, okay, of same or different data type. Okay, so the function we're going to use, okay, so the function we're going to use for taking input, the name of the function is scanf. And for output you're already familiar, printf, which can print any type of data. For scanf, you can see that syntax that I have written here, that is the formatted string we need to pass just like printf. So here little bit different is there. In the printf, formatted string can contain string plus format specifier, right? Okay, but here it can only have format specifier. We cannot add any information like we did it in the printf, a equal to something. Okay, it is not allowed. So we'll see the syntax in the online compiler that we are using, and we can see that any number of argument it can have. Okay, so here also like printf, any number of argument it can have, comma separated. But here in the printf we are using the argument name, the variable name, but here we not to use the variable name only, we have to use the address of that variable where it has been stored. So we're going to introduce another operator, we can call it ampersand or address of operator, right? So let us go back to the GDB compiler and see how we can do the stuffs for input. So to take input, remember in the computer programming, we are talking about specifically for C programming because it is strongly typed programming language. So before use any variable, what we need to do, we need to just we need to declare it, right? So here in line number 5, you can see I have declared a variable num, but I did not initialize it. It doesn't mean it doesn't have any value. Let me just show you here. Again, it is compiler dependent. Okay, so do not rely on these values. It will be the garbage values mostly we talk about whenever we did not assign any value, but we just try to fetch the value. What is the value here? So here it is 0. In your system it may not be 0, some large number, positive or negative, in any value it can print. Okay, so now let us just take input. How to take input? In the syntax we have seen there is a formatted string which can contains only a format specifier, and we need to pass some address. So before we jump to that part, so let us understand an identifier. Okay, what is happening actually into the screen, no, or happening to the background in the computer memory when we declare an identifier. This is my declarative statement, right? So remember, whenever we just write this statement and compile our code, some things happen into the back side of the computer memory, because computer need memory to process the information. Okay, so whenever we just declare some variable or constant, or you can say identifier, it has few characteristics or few properties we should remember. A variable or constant has a memory block, and that block is actually represented by the name that we have given to the identifier. So whenever we just now we just did the using the environment for executing of our code, right? We just click the run button actually, na. uh, we just click the run button. Okay, but backside many thing is happening. So two main stages of C program is compilation, and compilation alone have many other stages. We will see that in this thing a separate video. Okay, I'll be added in the playlist. We'll be adding later. But after that we have another step that is called execution, or in some of the book you can see they have also mentioned it is as a running of your code. So what happened when I just write this line and press the run button? So some memory, because remember we have different types of memory into our computer, right? So let's just write it again. Num is the name of the block. So you have two types of main memory we are using. One is by the name just I'm going to write. One is RAM, another is our hard drive. Okay, so this is we called our primary memory, and this one we called our secondary memory, right? So when you compile the code and execute the code, okay, this thing is happen get the memory from RAM only. We are not computer not using the memory from HDD, because it is secondary device, so it use only for storing of your data, but for processing the data, so CPU need to read the data. Okay, CPU is the key in computer programming. Now it's fetching the information, so CPU going to fetch the information from RAM. So that memory block I am talking about here, whenever we declared and some identifier, okay, with some value or without any value, as some memory block from the RAM, it is reserved, okay, where it can store the values. So now I have just written integer num. So integer will take 4 bytes of memory. We have already seen this, right? It is not new for us. We have already seen 4 bytes of memory. So from where CPU will going to read this 4 byte of memory, from where operating system will allocate that memory, right? So it will allocate from the memory from RAM, not from the hard drive. It will use the hard drive once we save the thing and our running is over. So it will shift the data from RAM to hard drive, and RAM will load the data from hard drive. This is the process of flowing of information, right? So in the RAM, there is a 4 byte of memory will be reserved against this name. So, but being a programmer, it is very difficult for us to know the every time to know the memory block address, because in a RAM, if I just draw the RAM, it is in a chunk of memory, it is partitioned into chunk of memory. There are some technical terms are there, we are not going to discuss here, paging and segmentation. Okay, separate concepts related to the operating system, so we are not going to discuss it here. Assuming that this is your no 16 GB or whatever the RAM you have, it will be partitioned into smaller chunks. So considering that C programming minimum memory, it is allocated always 1 byte for the character data type. So I'm assuming that each blocks of size 1 byte, so it will reserve 1 2 3 4 byte. Okay, it will reserve this 4 byte 1 2 3 and 4 for this num. So num alone will take this 4 byte memory. But now question is that being a programmer, may I reserve any location? Is it possible for me that can I reserve a location for this name? No, it is not possible, right? So backside there are some hardware, there are some other softwares part of the operating system, they will take care of all those stuffs, memory management stuffs. So it is not our concern how to deal that. But in throughout the program I may use this name many times. Here I'm using for the printing purpose, I may use this name for taking input from the user, then add value, subtract value, anything I can do, right? So so for being a programmer, when we use high definition language, okay, high definition language, that means the pure English script for writing, so it will be easy for us to remembering that location using a name. So that is called a identifier name. Okay, so that particular thing backside happen, a memory block of chunk 4 byte will be reserved against this name. So we can represent, we can, whenever we use this name in our code, CPU will understand that we want to access that particular memory block. So every memory block will have a name as for the programmer, and for the operating system it will have an address. Right, and for because why I'm telling this, if I just shown you here again, we have said that we're going to introduce another operator here in the scanf to take input. That name of the operator is I'm just going to write it here. Okay, name of the operator, we called it address of operator. Address of. Okay, ampersand also we called it in another way, but it is better to say address of operator. So address of what? Definitely address of some memory, right? And we don't know what is the memory location in advance, right? So we'll say the address of variable, because constant it cannot take input. Address of a variable. So how to represent a variable? By name. And what is name actually? Name is representing that memory block. Okay, I hope you understand the flow. Okay, so let us just go back here and just see how we can take the input from the user. So integer num, if I just use scanf here, so scanf is the function, but where is the code for the scanf? It is available in the stdio.h. so in the stdio, I did not mention previously in detail about the stdio. So remember, in stdio I, what is I represent input, and what is o represent output. Okay, and what this stdio means, stdio means standard. So that's why we called it standard input output. Okay, so now how to take input? How many values we want to take input? One values. Okay, so what is the type of that? Integer. So what is the format specifier? Percentage %d, simple. And it should be start now passing the address. So I'm just using the address of operator, and I pass the name of that memory block. So this statement will enable you to take input through the command prompt into this black screen. And this particular statement now going to print whatever the value you're going to enter. So let's just make it more lucrative. Yeah, fine. And if I just execute it again, you can see there is no output. Your cursor is blinking, so it is waiting for my input. I entered 8. You can see the num get 8. So that is the very much necessary. That's why data type we have discussed earlier. I can start input at the time of when I introduced hello world, but you will not understand. So I've given an integer. So I have determined in advance in my coding that I'll work with the integer only, and given the input as an integer and it prints it. Now, what is the drawback in my coding? Logically it is correct, but think about as an end user point of view. When this I run the code, I did not see any instruction that it is waiting for my input, right? So we can also preceded this scanf with a printf statement to give the proper command to the user what to do, what not to do. So I'm asking that enter an integer value, right? So that user can understand. So now let's run it. Now see it is given me enter an integer value. So if the person know little bit about the maths, he know what is integer. So I give 8, it will and print the 8. But what if user enters some other value? So what user can enter? So you can give an example like this. Enter an integer value like in number. Now I think this instruction is clear what we can enter. Right? Fine, it is works. Okay, so now let's see actually what this can we take different data type together. So can we take multiple values as input? So now I'm modifying and just update to num and num2. So this is the way also you can I may not introduce this kind of statement in my earlier videos, so you can learn it now here. You can declare multiple variables in the single statement but most important point, you need to use comma as a separator between them. Okay, so look, kindly take care of this thing. I have not informed it earlier. So can I use another scanf? So let us see. So now it will be num1 and it will also be num1. Now another scanf I am using percentage d again and num2, and now let us just print num2 equal to percentage d and pass the variable name, right? So every time see you can see that my variable name is preceded with an ampersand. So I just uh, need to print another message here so that user can understand there is another scanf. So now run. So it is asking me to enter only one integer. So I've entered 4. Further also it is asking for enter another number. So I've entered 5. So I get the correct one. Right. So this is the way we can take the input of integer. So now let us just put these things in comment for the timing. I'll tell you later why I'm putting these things in comment. I'm going to now take input a character. Let me just clear the basic first. So I'm just declaring a character here. I'm not initializing it. Okay. And now I'll ask you to press, not press, enter, sorry, enter any character as input. And how to take character as input? There are two possible ways we can do. Let us first try with the scanf. So do not forget we need to pass the address. So format specifier, we need a declared format specifier and we need to pass as this one. Okay, so it will handle my input and let us just printf. So it's going to print the value. Done, finish. Okay, so waiting for my character input, so I give u and I get the back value as u. Fine. So this is the way we can take the input of a character and this is the way we can print it. Now do one thing, let us try. Can we have multiple characters? Can I take multiple characters input? So let us just declare another one here. That's great. Okay, that's great. We need to adding another one. Okay, not in the same statement. Same statement we'll discuss later. In a different statement. So let me just copy this two line. Yeah, print any character and update the respective variable. So it will only point to that address. It will put that value into that address. And now if I just going to print it, done. Okay, let's just run and see the behavior here. So I'm entering one character. Now see, when I think you're not catching, maybe it's happened in very fast manner. When I entered, press a key W, okay. So, and then I press enter. I'm expecting that it should wait for my input. That is happened during the integer. But when I press the enter key and to just I want to give another character as input, because in my code there are two scanf now. Line number 8 also one scanf, line number 7 is also one scanf. But unfortunately I did not find any option, or neither the console is not wait for me to give any input. So you can see the ch1 is correct because I have entered w, I get w, it is storing into ch1, but ch2 doesn't print anything. Is it true that ch2 doesn't print anything? Okay, we didn't see any character here. So do one thing, let us just print the ch2 integer value as well. I hope you remember we have discussed about the ASCII value, huh? And these are very small one, so we can use the unsigned or suppose short, whatever, right? So I'm using here a short integer, not in scanf, sorry, here. So let us print a ch2 as percentage h, short integer, right? So I'll get the integer ASCII value here, and I'm passing the third argument as well. So now let's see what it is going to print. Some issue. Um, Conversion lex type end of format, and the main, it is pointing to this particular line number 10. What is the issue? I'm just doing the printf stuffs here. Character type, okay, it will be unsigned. So let me just see. Okay, let me just handle this warning. So if I pass unsigned short, now see there is no more warning. Okay, so sometimes it's happened, you need to understand the warning also. So now it is waiting for my first input. So again I press the W. Now see, ch1 is correct, but ch2 character is nothing, but if we print the ASCII value we get 10. So that means it is not exactly not getting any value. It have some value, but from where it get this value, that is the question. Okay, from where it get this value. So these are the few important theoretical point. Now we should understand how the on the back side console programming works. So let me just discuss you here how, from where that second scanf regarding character is getting the values. Okay, so this is our keyboard. Assume this is our keyboard, right? Couple of keys are there, and from keyboard I press some value. So if I press this, suppose this is character A, this is character B, this is character C. Okay, so if I press suppose A, so it will going the from the character, our keyboard is connected with an wire, right? So the value A is going somewhere. So where it is going? It is going to the buffer. Okay, it will store into a small memory. Okay, so separate concept, but assume that it is going, that small value is going and store it into a small buffer, right? So we have two scanf in our code, one scanf for ch1 and another scanf followed by this for ch2. Both are for what type? Both are for character type. Okay, so when I press A and it go to the buffer, and when I hit enter, enter is also there in the keyboard, no? Enter key is also there. It is also going to the buffer. So now the value of enter key is stored into the buffer. So the my first scanf for character reading the value from this memory block, for catching the values from this buffer, and it is assigned to which memory block pointed by ch1, and my second scanf is getting the value because the buffer is not free and we have used character data type as a ch2. So it is find that it is very cool. It is that my buffer is not free, so whatever in the buffer I going to consume it. Okay, it is happening only for the character, remember, it is not similar, it's true for the integer. We have seen two continuous integer input already, there is no issue, but it is only happening with the character. So from the buffer, that value of enter is actually no assigned to ch2. That is the reason we have seen here 10 as an output. Okay, let me just show you again. So 10 10, right? You can see the 10 as an output. Okay, so further also you can just let me just show you uh, after this printf. If I just use another printf, okay, just let me use backslash n, uh, and I want to print one character, and or suppose let me just use hu uh, to check the value, and I'm passing one character here. Backslash n is a character, new line character, do not confuse. There is a two character, one is the front slash backslash and another is the n. Combinedly these two is a single character, that is called new line character. So it is just print what is the value of this backslash n. So it is given me the input. Now see here, it prints the value of backslash n is 10. So what is backslash n? New line character means my cursor will move to the next line. So the 10 is nothing but the ASCII value of what? ASCII value of this enter key. So this is what? This is an enter key. Okay, so what is 10 is the respective integer of enter key. So in our keyboard such symbol is there. Okay, so due to this we are getting the 10. So now question is that how to deal with this, how to deal with this. I hope you understand the problem. It is not happening with the integer, it is happening with the character. When we use two consecutive scanf, okay, we are using two scanf one by one, okay, and character followed by character, or okay, we'll face this issue. This issue will be also there if I use integer scanf followed by character. Okay, so we need to handle this. To handle this, what we need to do, we need to flush the buffer so that there is no enter value remains. So how to flush the buffer? Many way we can do this, flush the buffer. So between these two scanf, so after this scanf we can use the function f flush std in. So flush the input buffer. Okay, flush the input buffer. Now let's run it. Okay, so now let's give input. Okay, still it is not working here. I have used f flush std in to remove the value, it is not waiting here. So another technique, so some compiler it works fine. Another technique, we can, instead of scanf, here we can call a false function called getchar. So getchar is another function that we normally use to take input from the user, only for characters. Scanf is used to take input for any data type, but getchar is a only data type that is used to take input a character only, right? So now this get, what this getchar will do, getchar will clean that input buffer, and my second scanf will wait to press a key and take the input. So let us check. Now it is waiting, so I have entered s, so I get the value. So ASCII value of small case s is 115, it is correct. I get ch1 as w and the ch2 as s, and the 10 is we just did some debugging now, some testing over there to check the ASCII value of \n, so no need this. So now I hope you understand how to deal with this problem. Here f/stdin is not working in the GDB compiler, so we can use this. So whenever there are two continuous character, you have to put this getchar. So let me show you. Instead of scanf, you can also use getchar, but syntax is a little bit different. In such case, you need to use this way. Okay, so it will also take the input. So getchar doesn't require the format specifier, because as I already mentioned, it is only used to take input a character only. Similarly here also you can just comment it, and you can use ch2 equal to getchar. So let us try run. Okay, waiting for the input. So again, same input I have given, correct, it is working. Okay, I hope you understand the use of getchar, one of the purpose of taking character input, and another way we can use for flush of the buffer. So we have find this problem in the scanf while we working when we want to take two characters one by one at the same time. Okay, so that is the issue I want to address here. Two characters, right? So that is the thing you need to take care. Input of different, same or different type, taking multiple. So multiple integer is okay, but multiple characters are not okay. So what if I just now combine character with integer? So now let me just open the comment. Now I'm going to mix, and I'm going to shift this printout here. Okay, fine. So now we'll see will integer and character will works together. Okay, so here it is. Now we'll see that your code is going to little bit larger, so I'm just removing the comments so that complete code can be fit under one frame, and we can discuss if there is any issue. Now I think it is okay. Yeah, now only output statements are remain. Yeah, one line further we can up. Yes. Okay, so now let's see here there are two characters, okay, and followed by two integers, and let us see are we getting the output properly or not. Here we don't require the second ch anymore. Debugging is okay, we have understood the process. Okay, now I think our code is ready to execute. So let's run it again. Okay, first it is asking me the integer character, so I've entered q. Second character I've entered w. Now see a character followed by integer, it is asking me enter an integer like 98 or any number, so I'm now entering negative number, and I'm also taking another integer, so two character two integer, entered 9. If we see the values we are getting properly, yes, we get the values properly. So only when I'm getting character after character, that is the issue, and we have seen after character after integer there is no issue. So now let's just shuffle them. Okay, here if I just put this integer here, will be the same issue or it is okay. So now I put both the character in between two integers. There is one integer, one character. So character from character issue, so getchar will take care of this. So now character to integer, no issue. So integer to character, there is issue or not? Let us test this. Okay, so now it is asking for the integer. As of now, there is no issue. 703. I'm moving from integer to character, no issue. It is also asking for a character. I have entered q. Now see the problem, what problem happened. So whenever I moving from integer to character, it is wait for my input, but the second character is not waiting, even though I have a getchar which is previously works, right? Which previously works. When I put this getchar between two character, it works. Now only thing is that issue arise here. Now see, I did not get anything in my ch1 and ch2, even though one character has wait for me to give input. So I've entered q, but I did not get anything. I get an enter. That's why ch2 output has been shifted to the next line. But my both the integer is fine. So again there is issue. So how this flow is actually works here? You can just analyze it. Okay, we have started, okay, from integer, fine. So you have given an integer, okay, so this one will get into the buffer. So here integer I have given 3, and after given 3, I hope you remember, I have pressed the enter key, right? So here after that I have pressed an enter key, so that enter key is also coming here, enter key. Okay, after the enter key, when it is moved, so enter key is assigned for ch1. It try to fetch the information from the buffer getchar. So getchar did not find anything. Getchar that it is, you can see here, my in my screen what input I have given. um, Check it here. Here let me just change the color, red one, fine. Yeah, here you can see I have given the value 3, so 3 is here, there is no issue. Okay, and I press the enter key goes into the my input buffer, so it is assigned to num1, and it is assigned to ch1, sorry, ch1. And after pressing enter key, so ch1 has been initialized, and there is a getchar, further getchar is there, right? So whatever the value I have entered here, okay, q, that q is consumed by the false getchar. Okay, and after pressing q, I have again press enter key, so again there is an enter, so that enter is assigned to ch2, and later when I entered another integer 5, so 5 is in the buffer, so 5 is in assigned to num2. So you can see num1 num2 is correct, no problem, but issue is here. So this is the overall flow. I hope you understand. Please go back and see the video, same video, rewind back, it is 5 minutes. You can understand the process now. Okay, so this is the flow is happening. So now how I can, or we can deal with this problem. What to do now? None of the characters works. Okay, so here to consume that enter, I am just putting another getchar. Now run, and now let's see. We get all the inputs properly, right? Fine. So it's very interesting input. Okay, so this is the way you should deal when you combining integer with character, because we need to build the logic in the upcoming lectures, so where you need both type of data. So this is the way you should take care your inputs. Okay, integer and character. So now if integer works, definitely short integer also works. Now remaining part of the scanf, how to take multiple inputs in a same scanf. Here I'm using a scanf for only one input, so can I utilize scanf for multiple input? Okay, so let us see. I just going to put this thing in comment. Yeah, I'll provide this file into the description of the video. So if you just take the code and practice, now we have two integers and two character. So let us just take scanf, and let me show you how you can take two integers in a same line. I will mix, but let's initially try with integer. So you need two integers, right? So instead of two scanf, we can do the stuffs with one scanf. And now you need to pass the address. So first is num1 and it is also num2. Pass the address. Don't forget. So address of operator. In printf it is not required, but in scanf it is required, right? So let me just print it is working or not. We'll mix integer and character. Just for the time being, we just continue with integer. Okay, run and see. So I'm given two numbers, so I get the numbers. So now important here, important part here, look at my scanf, how I have written the scanf. I kept two uh, one space I have kept, right? Yeah, one space I have kept between these two %d. Now that's why I have given the input like this, 4 1 space and 5. So you can use on printf and inform the user, enter two space separated integer, enter two integer as a space separated, so that user can understand how to give the input, right? So you can add any number of %d that you want in a single scanf statement. Only thing is necessary, like printf, first input will be represented by num1 and second input will be represented by num2. Okay, so again the variables are assigned from right to left, like printf we have discussed earlier. Okay, so please remember this small thing, very much necessary to write a large program with more line of code. Uh, Now another point, can scanf have another way it can accept the values? Yes, we even though we can use a comma as a separator instead of space. So in such case, you need to inform the user, because user will not know what you have written in the code. So enter two integers as comma separated. Okay, now I think it is fine. So let's run it, and if I just give 4 comma 5, you see it works. Okay, so depends what separator we have used. Comma I have used here, it works. I have used space, it is also works. Now let us mix with the character. So can I use a %c and ch1 and fine. So let us print it and try. So now enter two integer and one character as comma separated. So now let us test this. See, we get the values properly. There is no issue. Okay, so can I have another character, because we are pressing comma, so comma is also character. So let us just test it again, comma another character. Now this one will be our ch2, and let us print ch2 equal to %c. Okay, and ch2, run. Okay, so now there will be two integer and two characters instead of one. Okay, so let's do Yeah, press enter. See, there is no issue of what is in the buffer. It works fine. Only thing, when you use multiple scanf statement, we are facing the issue. Now I have moved from integer to character. I did not find any issue while I use the same scanf, right? So let us just shuffle it and do one thing. You just do the trial and error with the syntax. uh, in the next few more videos also, you're going to just understand the syntax, how to utilize them. We are not going to understand the logic building yet, because our basic building blocks for the programming is still continue. Okay, so now can we mix them? Is it possible to mix them? So let me just shuffle it. Okay, fine. And now we also need to shuffle them. Now run it. So it is asking for again two characters and two integer. So comma separated. Careful. So did we get the output properly? Yes, we get the output properly. No issue. So now let us place the character in between the integer. So please follow the order. Now run. So now follow the order. Do not go for the message that what I print. Follow the order. First one is a character, comma separated. Now there is an integer. Third one is also again character and integer. So you can see, are you getting the correct values? WNS, yes. Integer 25, yes, it is also correct. So you can mix multiple format specifier to take input multiple inputs using one scanf. Scanf and printf are designed such a way that they can take a variable number of arguments. Okay, so there will be no issue. Okay, so I hope your our scanf process and the printf process is clear. This is sufficient for this lecture. How to take the standard input, how to handle the various inputs. I did not uh, take an example of the float. Same way only. There is no other process. Just use the correct format specifier and pass the address of respective variable. Okay, this is the syntax we normally take. There is no extra rule for the taking input of float and short, signed and unsigned. I hope you understand the working process of scanf. Please practice. Okay, thank you.